guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do the last video that I'm planning on doing anyway about the news, rumors, and updates. So in this video I'm going to talk about Star Wars things. So in the end of July I had talked about the D23 convention that was in Anaheim and everything that was announced there. Now we already knew that Star Wars Land was coming to Hollywood Studios at that point, but the official name was announced, and it was announced to be Galaxy's Edge. We didn't really know a whole lot at that point, and it's still ways out, so we don't know a ton, but I know a little bit more. And like I said in my other videos, now the rumors that I pay attention to, I try to really only listen to the ones that are more based on fact, I guess. I don't just listen to or read any of them and then report on them, I guess you could say. I try really hard to see the ones, you know, how did you get this information? Is it because these people like found building permits or, you know, based on aerial shots, that kind of thing. So we're gonna talk about Galaxy's Edge. Now, Galaxy's Edge is going to be opening in Disneyland in California and at Hollywood Studios in Disney World. And it's gonna be almost exactly the same. In the expansion, the area of Galaxy's Edge is 14 acres, so it is huge. Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland is going to be opening first, followed by Galaxy's Edge in Hollywood Studios in Disney World. And based on construction right now, it seems like Hollywood Studios is between 3 and 5 months behind the construction in California. However, they're both expected to open in 2019. Like I said, before the D23 Expo, we already knew that Star Wars Land was coming, we just didn't know the name of it. They actually started construction in Hollywood Studios on April 14th, 2016. And currently, where they're at is they are putting up the steel framing for the ride buildings, and on the steel framing is where the rock work goes. So that's kind of where they're at. And there's 2 rides, and there's going to be the Millennium Falcon ride and the Battle Escape ride. I can never remember that name. And they're indoors, so you can kind of see right now, because the entire building isn't enclosed yet, you can kind of see what's going on inside the building because just the framing is up. And at this point, Millennium Falcon is further along. Now, what was announced at the D23 Expo is that they will have 2 rides, and that one of them, what they said was, you're on a Star Destroyer inside a hangar bay. And I have not seen Disney actually announce this this is called Battle Escape, but that's what everybody on the rumor boards is calling it, is Battle Escape. And based on the concept art that Disney released, you can expect stormtroopers, so we know that much at least. And the time frame, a lot of people were asking about the time frame, and the time frame of this is from the sequel trilogy. Now in the second ride, when you're on the Millennium Falcon, you're actually flying the Millennium Falcon and completing a mission. And what I thought it sounded like, and a lot of people thought it sounded like, was Mission Space in Future World and Epcot. Now the difference here is, well, there's a couple of differences. First, Mission Space, you're in this pod and it spins, and that is what creates the G-forces. And the Millennium Falcon, you are not going to be spinning. Your pod is actually going to move based on the screens that are around you. So it's a little bit more immersive in that you're moving with the screens and not separate from it. And in addition, another difference between Millennium Falcon and Mission Space is that in Mission Space, you're all completing a mission, you all have a job to do, everybody who's riding it. If you don't do anything, nothing's gonna happen though. I mean, it's, you know, kind of for show. With Millennium Falcon, however, allegedly, they're saying that what you do actually will make a difference and will impact your mission, so to speak. And then however you do in your mission will follow you around the park throughout the day. I don't know exactly what that means, but they said that if you earn, I think the wording was if you earn credits or if you have a bounty on your head. I thought that's what I had read. But yeah, that's what we know is going to be very, very immersive. The word immersive is used constantly when talking about the Star Wars expansions that are happening at Disney right now. Now, the Millennium Falcon is expected or rumored based on the aerial shots to have 7 cockpits per turntable. And you'll see that there are 4 turntables in total. And now when you look at the artist renditions, it appears as though there are 6 guests per cockpit. So I mean, it's a pretty high number of guests that are riding at any one time, and allegedly, the rumor is that it is going to be continuous loading. So it's not going to be like, say, Thunder Mountain, where everyone gets on, you wait for the train to go around, they get off, and then a new group goes on. So it's going to kind of be like one at a time. So it's continuous loading. That's the rumor, that's the idea. Now, in terms of the rest of Star Wars Land, Galaxy's Edge, whatever you want to call it, what can you expect? Now, here, let's see. According to the original press release, Disney said guests will find themselves in the middle of the Star Wars action at a remote trading port, which will engage all senses, including touch and smell and taste with food, obviously. Now, there's going to be a cantina where they sell blue milk. And it said, okay, I have to read this because, yes. It was announced that the land will be inhabited by humanoids, aliens, and droids. Now, if you're wondering why I have waited to make a Star Wars video until now, and I talked about Toy Story Land, and I talked about Guardians of the Galaxy, and Ratatouille, and the Skyway, all before I talked about Star Wars, it is because I hate Star Wars. I hate it. Ugh, I just hate it so much. It's just like, I don't get it. I mean, this Chewbacca thing, like, he needs to clear his throat, okay? He just needs to, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get any of it. I digress. So, yes, humanoids. It will be inhabited by humanoids. Take that for what it's worth. They're also announcing that there's going to be a lot, and you can see this from the artist renditions as well, that there are a lot of Star Wars vehicles around as like props for people to take pictures with. Now, people are kind of worried about this based on what has happened with Pandora, because guests are really feeling, and Disney fanatics, I should say, are really feeling that Disney hugely underestimated the popularity of Pandora, because they opened this land. And the actual, I mean, it's big, it's very impressive. There are a lot of things, environmentally, spatially, you know, like they have the big floating rocks and everything, and it's very cool, but the actual space for people to be is not that huge. So you have a large number of people there, and there are 2 rides. Now, with Galaxy's Edge, again, there's going to be 2 rides. And if you think of the amount of, like the fan base that these rides have, what do you think has more? Avatar or Star Wars? So people are kind of worried. They're like, well, I'm not gonna go for like 5 years because by then the first round of people should be through the lines. So we'll see. I think even people like myself, I really detest Star Wars, but I really want to go see it. I'm excited to see it. I'm sure it's gonna be fantastic, like everything Disney does. It looks very, very cool, and it sounds like is going to be totally different than anything else they've done. So I do want to see it, even though I'm not a Star Wars fan. So that being said, it is going to be really, really crowded. So we'll see what Disney plans as far as crowd control for that, because it is definitely a concern. Now, Toy Story Land is going to be opening the previous year. So Toy Story Land is opening in 2018, and Star Wars Land is opening in 2019. So hopefully at that point, Toy Story Land will still be new enough where it will still draw a fair amount of people, so that it's not like everybody running to Star Wars Land, which is currently the case with Pandora at Animal Kingdom. Keeping along with the Star Wars theme, I thought I would also talk about the Star Wars themed hotel that Disney has announced that they're building. There is very little known about this. They have not announced the location officially. They've not officially announced the location. They've not announced an opening date. They've not, obviously, since they haven't announced the location, they've not broken ground on it yet. So there really isn't a ton known, but I did dig into it a little bit more to see if I could see if anybody has any rumors as far as really anything with this hotel. So like Disney already said, it's going to be a completely immersive hotel. So I had already read that, and I read that guests are going to have the attire of people in Star Wars. And And what else I found where it says guests become citizens of the galaxy, and to make it seem real, you're given proper attire. According to Disney, it will be 100% immersive, and the story will touch every single minute of your day. Now, this is going to be considered, allegedly, this is going to be considered a luxury resort. Read deluxe. Deluxe resort, expensive, pricey. Now, this isn't going to be like the other deluxe resorts. Like I said, this is completely 100% immersive. And the numbers floating around on the internet, which I've seen many, many, many times, I have no idea where this came from, but people are reporting $1,000 per person for a 2-night stay. And if that is true, that is extremely expensive, but you're gonna get diehard Star Wars fans, I'm sure, that are willing to pay it. Now, as far as the location, this ties in with the hotel. It is rumored that the location will be right next to Hollywood Studios and right next to Star Wars Land, so that part of your stay includes access to Star Wars Land. And this is something that people are comparing to Disney's Grand Californian and California Adventure Park, where the hotel, like the outdoor walkway from the hotel, leads right into California Adventure, and the turnstiles to go into the park are like literally still in the hotel. So it's very, very cool to see that at California Adventure. So it wouldn't surprise me if they did that with Star Wars, because they've done it before, but that is the word on the street, word on the internet, as far as where the hotel is going to be, and that cost is expected to also include admission to Star Wars Land. Another rumor that I'm hearing is that the hotel itself will include a pool area, which I'm sure, I mean, if it's a luxury resort, I'm sure it's gonna have a pool, water park, and fitness center. Now, the deluxes have fitness centers, all of the hotels have pools. Water park, I'm not really sure on. Do they just mean like a splash pad area for kids? Because I'm just not sure on that. I'm not sure if that's just what I read is water park, but I wonder if some people might have a different definition of that, and it might just be like a couple of water slides in the pool, or if, like I said, a splash pad area for children, but that's what I read, water park. Now, I think this actually came from Disney, if I'm not mistaken. There's a lot of information. It's hard for me to remember everywhere I got it, but that the windows inside the hotel, your view will be of space. It will not be of everything else. It's just going to be a space to, again, fully immerse you in the Star Wars culture, lifestyle, whatever you want to call it. Based on the artist renditions, the rooms are expected to hold 4 people. They're going to have 1 adult bed, and again, if it's considered a deluxe resort, it would be a queen or a king, I would think, because all of the other deluxe resorts have at least queens. And then 1 set of children's bunk beds. So I'll see if I can find the artist rendition and pop that picture in here for you as well, so you can see the concept art for the guest room. Like I said, concept art. Disney has released this concept art, and a lot of the rumors floating around are based on that concept art. And something to keep in mind is that the concept art changes. So it's not necessarily written in stone. If you look back to the concept art for the new Fantasyland, it changed multiple times between when it was released initially and when Fantasyland opened, and it was scaled back and things changed. So just because the concept art was released does not necessarily mean this is what's happening, this is what you can expect. But I think it's kind of like this is what they're shooting for, and this is a fairly realistic goal for them, I think is kind of a better way to put it. So at this point, they've released the concept art. They've officially announced that the Star Wars Hotel is coming. I think it's safe to assume that that in fact will happen and that will come. As far as the level of immersion, they're saying it's going to be completely 100% immersive. Don't know on that yet. There's not really enough details, and most everything I found is really rumors at this point, and like I said, based on concept art. So we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, Star Wars Land, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, Star Wars Land, whatever you want to call it, is coming in 2019 to both Disneyland and then a couple months later to Disney World. Not sure yet when the Star Wars Hotel is coming, but hopefully sooner rather than later. We have a lot of very anxious people to see what it looks like. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. Bye.